1 Corinthians 1, 25 through 26. Hoti ta moran tu theou saphoteron ton anthropon estin, kai ta asthenes tu theou iskuroteron ton anthropon, blepetegar ten klesin humon adelphoi, hoti ou paloi saphoi katasarka, ou paloi dunatoi, ou paloi eugenes. In the previous verse, verse 24, Paul was saying that the cross is foolishness and a stumbling block to the Jews and the Gentiles for different reasons. Because, he says, tamoron, the foolishness of God, tamoron, our subject, is neuter singular nominative. It's built on an adjective. It's a substantive that is an adjective used as a noun. Because the foolishness of God, his foolishness, is wiser, saphoteron. This, as the predicate, is neuter singular nominative, and it is a comparative adjective from the adjective sophos. Sophos is the positive degree, saphoteros, or saphoteron, is the comparative degree, and the superlative is saphotaton. And then we have after it ton anthropon, masculine, plural, and a genitive. This is a genitive of comparison. Now there are two ways to interpret this. We can take it to mean that the foolishness of God is wiser than the wisdom of men, and thus have some kind of a noun in here implicit, like tes sophios in the genitive, of course, sophios, than the wisdom of men, and this would make ton anthropon possessive, or we can take ton anthropon as itself the genitive of comparison and say that the foolishness of God is wiser than men themselves. And here is our verb estin with tomoron. And now the second clause, the weakness to asthenes, and like tomoron, asthenes is neuter, singular, and nominative. It's also an adjective that has been turned into a noun, a substantive. And the weakness of God, notice the strong parallelism in the construction of these two clauses. To moran tu theou, to asthenes tu theou. And the weakness of God, iskuroteron, this answers saphoteron, is more strong. This also is a comparative adjective because it has the comparative suffix teron, and it also is followed by a genitive of comparison. This is the comparative degree. There is a positive iskus and a superlative iskurotaton. So the weakness of God is more strong, iskuroteron, than the strength, we might say, if we want to have the idea of an implicit comparative and take ton anthropon as possessive, than the strength of men, or we can say that it is stronger than men themselves. Now, verse 26, he's going to give the reason. Gar here, this inferential conjunction, is going to tell us the reason of what comes before, or in this case, I think it's best to take it as an example, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Note, he says, blepetes, second plural imperative, present and active. Note, he says, take note over, look at, ten klesin humon, your calling. This is feminine singular accusative, the object of blepete. And humon in the genitive plural is possessive with ten klesin. Now, adelphoi, masculine plural and vocative, because what follows is going to be harsh news, he's going to first treat them well and gently by calling them brothers. Note your calling, that not many, saphoi, not many of you, implicit, were wise, saphoi, according to the flesh, katasarka. They're wise now, according to Christ. Not many of you were powerful, again, katasarka, because they are powerful now, according to Christ. And not many of you were well-born, eugenes. That means according to the flesh, but now they are in Christ. So the gar here, as I said, might be explaining how it is that God's foolishness and his weakness is wiser and more powerful than that of men, because even though they were like this, God saved them.